Gillespie, and we are going to take a tour of Neptune through Aries for every single sign, specifically your rising, ideally. But if you don't know your rising sign because you don't have your birth time, that's certainly a possibility. We will also let this stand for your moon or your sun. And so for me, I would look at like all three signs. As I'm going through this list of all 12 signs, I would go, okay, which one do I need to listen to for my rising, which is the driver of my life car? Which one do I need to listen to for my sun, which is the navigator of my life car? And which one do I need to listen to for my moon, which is the backseat driver of my life car? Because all three of these play an important role in the journey that is my life, which is a big ride in this life car. So, have you hugged yourself today? Even if you have to do it again, because it feels good. Remind yourself you're in a body. Yes. And let your nervous system know, even though everything is wild, it's okay. Because we are also spirits and souls, which are not nervous system. Get that shadow side. Yes. And I say, even if I don't fully believe it, I am safe, we are safe, we are safe, those types of things, because there is a place in my brain where having that reminder of safety is helpful, even if the issue is I am completely and totally not safe and I have to be able to face whatever it is that I'm facing. So with that in mind, please take care of yourself. We have a very activating February coming up. We are going through not just eclipse season starting in the midpoint-ish of February. We have eclipse number 1 on February 17th, eclipse number 2 on March 3rd, and we're going to be hitting 2 axes, 4 signs with the nodes on this one. So anybody with mutable or fixed signs, you're going to be getting eclipse ding ding going on, and all of us, we all have all 12 everything in our chart, so it's somewhere, it's going to hit somewhere for each and every one of us, no matter what your dominance is in terms of modality. If you're more cardinal, you might not feel quite as much disruption, but that's okay. We got you covered elsewhere, because we've got Saturn and Neptune conjoining on the 20th of February in Aries at 0 degrees, the world point. This is a big deal. A lot of people talking about it already, with good reason. It's a big deal. Like, Saturn already comes around the whole wheel once every 27 and a half years. And so about every 30 years or so, he hooks up with Neptune, because Neptune is also moving in that direction. And so even though Neptune is far, far slower, it takes 165 years for Neptune to go around all 12 signs. It will be ahead one more sign by the time Saturn gets around to it. And so every 30 years we get this little connection. But we have not had a 0 degrees Aries connection in forever long. And that is the world point. It is where the zodiac resets. It's like a whole new beginning of everything. So we have eclipse on the 17th of February. We have Saturn conjunct Neptune on the 20th of February. We have Mercury going retrograde the following week, because we need that. Mercury's going retrograde in all the water signs. So retrograde in Pisces first, then Cancer, then Scorpio. So that's your Mercury retrograde is all water. So lots of feelings about all the things that are getting churned up and wild with all that. And before Uranus shifts into Gemini in April, just in the month of February, we have 4 squares to Uranus. Uranus has gone direct, or will go direct at the beginning of February, and will immediately have squares from the Sun and Mercury and Venus and Mars and the Moon twice, because the Moon moves a lot, so we always get squares there. But that so it's like it's the Sun squares Uranus and then has the first eclipse. It's a lot. Okay, so do you know much about Neptune? That's what we're talking about today. So glad you could catch this live. Neptune in my first house, Aries, baby. That's right. Neptune is going to be visiting your first house, Kelly, because you have Aries rising. It's true. You're going to feel that all up in your body, all up in your personality, all up in how you come across to the world. Hello, Michelle. So glad you could join from Arizona. Good to see you, sweetheart. Yay, yay, yay. And Kelly, I hope you are not frozen solid out there. Speaking of frozen solid, all right, Belinda, how are you? Is it really cold? I know people saying hello from Canada. I always have to remember y'all got a whole other level of cold already. How you doing? How's it feeling? Yay, Jackie, so glad you could make it. And hello, EJ, so glad you could make it to a live. This is so great. I love having y'all here. Thank you for saying hello in the live chat. Those of you watching in replay, hello, replay crew. Please say hello in the comments. And in fact, those of you watching in live chat, come back around once this is a replay and say something in the comments, even though you were here for the chat. Because that would really help just in terms of like algorithm and things that we want YouTube to do, nicely for me and my little channel over here. So thank you for hitting like, thank you for subscribing, thank you for commenting, thank you for chatting. Love you all. It's so good to see you. Your snow is melting. Okay. All right then. I love it. I love it. I get to go sledding. Oh, that's so much fun. Wait, yeah, Calgary hot. I don't know about that. Cold, 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 cold in New York. Okay, I'm glad you're going to sled. Good. Neptune in my fourth house, natally, EJ. Where is it? Where is the Aries house in your chart? Because that's what we're going to be chatting about today. Neptune is going to be moving into Aries for the first time in our lives. Let me take you to my screen here real quick. There's a bonus for you, the Capricorn body. That is something I designed for revisioning, and I had that out because I'm now doing the Aquarius body version, and I wanted to make sure that I have the same information generally in the same place, even though it's a different looking slide. And while I'm looking at things that I have open here, y'all look at this. I may have shown this before because it really excites me. This is a chart for someone from February of 1962, and I just want you to look at all of that Aquarius. Can you imagine Mars, Saturn, Sun, Moon, Mercury retrograde, Venus, South Node, Jupiter, all in the first 2 decans of Aquarius? I mean, and then this person has Uranus in Leo retrograde, and retrograde Uranus in Leo, and North Node in Leo, Pluto in Virgo, this Scorpio Neptune. What a fixed chart. What a fixed dang chart. I when I saw this, I was like, I have to keep this because look at all of the aspects are just a line. It's just a line. That's it. All the aspects are just a line because that's that story. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So where are we now? We are right now, as we were having this conversation, looking at this pretty chart. We have our moon in Gemini. So chatty chat, 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 chat. Yes, please. And Neptune has just moved into Aries just yesterday, day before. And so this is brand new. We did get a preview of Neptune and Aries. So I'm going to give you some dates that I want you to look at and consider. How did that feel? Because that was a preview. We got a preview of we got a preview of Neptune in Aries, and we will get a review of it after it moves on to Taurus. So these are the dates that I want you to jot down, keep in mind for yourself. The preview that we already got of Neptune in Aries happened March 30th of 2025 through October 22nd of 2025. So think specifically about the months of April, May, June, July, August, September, and half of October of 2025 with regard to your Aries house, because Aries is somewhere in everybody's chart, in the chart of the now where I am currently broadcasting. It is in the 12th house, and you can see the numbers around the inner wheel of the chart here, and then the signs are along the outer wheel of the chart, and we're looking for this little guy right here. That's Aries. And Neptune is now in Aries, but Neptune was also in Aries for a preview during those months of 2025. Can you think back to that period of time with regard to the Aries house of your chart? And our chart harmony formula is the planet is the what. So Neptune. The planet is the what. The sign is the how. So Aries. We're doing Mad Libs here. Aries. The planet is the what. The sign is the how. The house is where it all shows up in your life. So in this chart that I have up right now, we've got Neptune is the what. So the what is spirituality, storytelling, creativity, lying, escaping, making things super unclear. Neptune's got a little reputation for all of this, like medical mystery, like all that's Neptune, but also creativity, also spirituality. So I'm highlighting the big positives there. Those are good. Those are good things. Okay, so that's the how. Sorry, that's the what, Neptune. In Aries, that's the how. Aries, fast, not thoughtfully. And that doesn't mean that Aries people are not thoughtful people. It means that Aries moves before it thinks. And that move before thinking is a very fire sign thing already, but especially with Aries. Because Aries is like, I don't even realize that thinking's an option. It's, I feel the passion and I go, because that is what I am here to do. Aries is the starter. So the how of Aries is fast and without a lot of mindfulness around it. It's very urge centric. It's not completing the assignment. It is only starting the assignment most of the time. So that's your how. So we've got creativity, spirituality, some medical mystery, foggy information, fast, without a lot of thinking, passion driven, impulse driven. Okay, I see this combination here. In where? What house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do. That's the houses. Okay, it's also Electric Company or Sesame Street, something from my childhood. I can never forget that. I'm pretty sure it's Electric Company, but can never forget that song. Anyway, 1 through 12. Each house has a meaning. So I'm going to take you through rising sign by rising sign, or you could be measuring it for your sun sign or your moon sign. We are going to be looking at where in your chart is this showing up. In this chart, this would be showing up in the 12th house, which is already spirituality. So more spirituality in the house that is already the house of spirituality, but also imprisonment and subconscious and institutions, systems of imprisonment and hospitalization and places where things don't make a lot of sense. By the way, the rising just changed while I'm having this conversation with you, and Aries is now in the 11th house for the chart of the right now while I'm having this conversation with you, because we just got Gemini rising. It works just like that. Boom. I say a lot of times with astrology, it's not the flip of a switch. It's a very gradual change. But when you use whole sign houses, you won't get that flip of a switch to the signs when the rising changes signs. So there is that. We did just have a flip of the switch. But this, of course, gives us a great illustration of what happens if you've got Gemini rising, because if you've got Gemini rising, you're going to have Aries over here in your 11th house, and the where of that is going to be with your friend group, with your audience, with your activism and your collective focus. We're going to go through each of these, and I'm going to spend a little more time than just that on it, but I wanted to make sure that you had those dates for when we have had the preview already, and going forward what those dates are going to be. January 26th, so just 2 days ago, we got our Neptune in Aries era really beginning. So the preview was in 2025. Now we're in our Neptune in Aries era, and we will be here until May 21st of 2038, because then we'll have a preview of our Neptune in Taurus era. That preview is going to be from May 21st of 2038 to October 21st of 2038. So we're going to have from last part of May, June, July, August, September, and the first part of October, we're going to have about 5-month preview of Neptune in Taurus, and then we will finish our Venus, I keep saying Venus, our Neptune in Aries era with a review from October 21st, 2038 to March 23rd, 2039. So the story that we are learning here about Neptune and Aries started with the preview in March of 2025, and it ends with the review in March of 2039. So that's a 14-year story. what does it mean for you? You already got a little bit of a preview. Let's look at it. I'm going to give you, for each sign, I'm going to give you, this is what to do in terms of dissolving, because Neptune is really good at dissolving stuff that needn't be there. And here's what you're going to develop, because you are going to develop something from that mystery. Think of like film. Think of Polaroids, shake them, how the developing of the image is a slow process, slower for certain kinds of film experiences than others. In a pre-digital era, we actually had to wait to see what the picture was going to look like. We had some idea if we were there because we saw the posing going on, but we don't actually know what the picture is going to look like until it goes through that dissolving of chemicals and then developing of the image that is going to happen. And it happens by dissolving away some of the chemicals that the process happens through. So we are going to talk about for each sign what it is that you are going to dissolve and what you are going to develop. And so be thinking of that in those terms for this house that we're looking at. We are going to start with our new host of Neptune, and that's Aries. So Aries rising, I know y'all, Aries always first, and there's a reason. You are the first sign of the zodiac. You are the ones that are like, come on, let's go. Most Aries folks are going to hear what I say now and then leave the live stream, because why do they need to stick around for everything else? And I'm just saying, it's great. If you want to stick around, you will learn other things. It's totally fine. But I also understand, because, Aries, you got shit to do. You got shit to do. All right, so Aries, here we go. I'm going to highlight while I talk to make sure that I hit the things that I want to hit. I'm going to move my little keyboard. So I'm going to be looking down a little. I should be looking like out like this. I need a clipboard right here. That would be great. Do I have anything that would be like a clipboard? No, I don't. Okay. That's a note for future performance. We will put something up here so that I can kind of look straight out ahead instead of down like this. But that's all right. You can see my gray hairs. All right. So here we go. Because everything that happens in the first house is about your personality, the driver of your life car, your you-ness. It is like how you show up as you in the world. It's the only house in the entire chart that is all about you. All about you. There is nothing else in the first house but you. So you're going to get a lot of Neptune in the all about you. Now, because medical astrology is a big, fun place of interest for me, I will also mention when Neptune moves into your first house, you really want to get all your health checked out. You want to make sure that you're getting like second opinions on any diagnoses that are like a big deal, because there is constant miscommunication with medical assessments when Neptune's around. So we want to make sure in general, we don't do medical things when Neptune is in aspect to or in transit to something in our natal chart like that. But especially when Neptune's going to be hanging out in your first house, sixth house, or the sign of your moon, we want to pay extra attention to what's going on in your physical body, because Neptune does like to monkey with medical information. And I just like to say Neptune is more like an out in the woods, white-haired medicine man, genderless medicine man label, a medicine person, a medicine entity. That is what Neptune would rather be. And so that's why it doesn't really have a lot of respect for what goes on in like medical science. And so that's why you always want to make sure that Neptune is feeling involved somehow, so that he doesn't monkey with your results of things. So your whole system of self is going to be restructured over these 13, 14 years that Neptune is going to be in Aries for people who are Aries rising, because that's your first house. So you're going to start doing things that are more about how you feel in the moment and less about your identity. You're going to start not having alignment with how does this affect the total picture of who I am. You're really not worried about that story anymore. You are going to be reinventing yourself pretty much the entire time Neptune is in your first house. So hopefully that seems exciting to you and not terrifying to you. You're going to dissolve, great opportunity to dissolve any outdated self-concepts, anything that is more egocentric than spirit-centric, because remember, Neptune is a spiritual planet, and if we are ego-driven, we're not going to have the exact same values that we had when Neptune got to the first house. You are also going to be able to rid yourself of low enoughness and thinking that you have anything to prove. What you're going to develop is your intuitive sense, your ability to embody something, like being able to use your body as an instrument or a vessel for getting information, divine downloads, anything that feels like I don't know how to explain this to someone else. And so the mantra that I would give you, Aries, is going to be, my healing needn't look like anything else to anybody else. You do not have to be able to explain yourself. You do not have to be able to justify why you're getting the downloads that you're getting and why you're doing what you're doing with them. Nobody's fucking business. So there you go. So got all that? Very exciting. We're then going to move to Taurus rising, which puts the sign of Aries in your 12th house. And when you've got Aries in the 12th house, you already have a relationship with things biting you in the butt because of your fast action or things that you move too quickly on, because 12th house is where we tend to snag ourselves. So if you've got Taurus rising, this is a really dark part of your chart where Aries is trying to like start a fire, start a fire, start a fire. So what's going to happen now with Neptune coming to your 12th house is you're going to feel less of a need to control what you can't see or can't understand. So you've already had to relinquish that kind of control because you have Aries in the 12th house, Taurus rising, but you are now going to be able to relinquish that control. You are now going to absolutely be able to let go of needing to figure things out in that hidden part of your chart. Because Neptune is going to say, I'm going to make it even murkier. I'm going to make it even less sensical. You're not going to be able to make sense of what's happening back here. And that's really frustrating to a Taurus rising. So I'm just going to ask you to trust that you can let that part of figuring things out go, because you've got the whole other rest of the chart that you can focus on manifesting and things happening the way they should, or the way you think they should work because of your earth sign-ness. And just let this 12th house be a place of mystery and fire that creates some ideas that maybe you never would have come up with. So what you're going to dissolve, Taurus rising, is any of the fear that is around what you don't understand about yourself. I know, I heard it. That's a biggie. You're also going to dissolve anything that makes you feel like you have to physically do things in order to prove your worth or your enoughness. Oh my gosh, there we are with a theme. You are also going to dissolve the choice of, let me just completely disconnect from that part of my life, because it can be going on and you can be connected with it without being all up in it. So it's like, what is the, like, we don't want you to disassociate. We don't want you to just wall off that part of your life and say, I don't understand it, therefore it doesn't exist. That's not good for you. What you are going to develop, dear Taurus rising, you're going to get more clarity around your dreams. You're going to have more spiritual awakening. You are probably going to connect more with your ancestral group. You are going to have visits from people who have already passed on in your dream state. And you're also going to be able to connect with rest in a whole new way. Taurus rising, you already know how to rest. You know how to take a break, but you're now going to see it as a way to also do some spiritual devotion. And that's pretty yummy, if you ask me. We're now going to move on to our Gemini rising. Gemini rising, you have Taurus in the 12th house. You have Aries in the 11th house. So you are shifting the chart wheel as we move the rising signs. It's just like y'all saw on my screen during the demo there, where I was like pointing at where Aries is on the chart of the now, and it moved from 12th to 11th. We got a Gemini rising out of it. It's amazing. I love it. So Gemini rising, you have this visit coming to your 11th house, and your 11th house is your friend group, your audience, your buyers, the collective, the audience that you are here to serve. It is who you are in the bigger neighborhood of your life and how you connect with the people that need you in terms of activism or showing up and taking action on behalf of the collective. And so this will probably shift your friend group quite a bit. You're probably going to be able to shed any of the ways that you would define yourself based on your friend group previously. So I know for Gemini rising, you're always like, I'm not sure which one of me I want to be right now. There's a part of you that you developed as a part of a friend group, probably early on, that you're going to really be able to let go of, because you're going to go, that doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve anyone. It's not who I am. And I don't really care about it all that much. And that's going to allow you to open yourself up to more connections at the spiritual level. Because remember, Neptune is the what, and it coming to your 11th house means more spirituality around your friend group, more spirituality and creativity around how you gather with others. And so the more you can like just declutter anything that doesn't need to stick around in that, any groups, like if you're still on Facebook and you're a member of all these different groups from 2008, 2009, get rid of those, let those go. That's not who you are anymore. I once went through my YouTube subscriptions and looked at all the things I was subscribed to, and my YouTube channel is more than 20 years old. So I was like, yeah, I can let some of this go. I can absolutely unsub from some of these YouTube subscriptions. Like, I don't actually want that to inform what comes up in my feed. Not that it ever does, because they're always showing you not what you're subscribed to, but what they think you should also subscribe to, whatever. But this is the kind of decluttering that you could start to do, Gemini rising. What are you going to dissolve? You are going to dissolve any friendships and relationships and colleagueships that do not align with where you're headed. You are going to stop feeding the need to act in ways that please everybody. I know that tends to be a little more of a Libra thing than a Gemini thing, but all air signs are like people pleasers. They're always looking for, how do I entertain the collective? And so especially with this one, with Neptune moving here, you're going to let go of the need to like turn it on in front of people in groups and put on a show. What are you going to develop? You're going to develop community and connection around your creativity and your spirituality. So this could be a church group. It could be a church theater group. It could be that you start a theater troupe or some creative outlet for people who are aligned with you spiritually in some kind of ways. This is also going to allow you to create more things for the people that you are here to serve from a more aligned place with what they need as an audience, and less about commerce or ratings or anything like that. So I know I have a lot of creatives in the group here that are going to go, yep, I get it. That's me. I understand the assignment. Cool. And of course, any questions, pop them in the chat. I'll stop at the halfway point and check on chat and then continue on. We are now on to Cancer rising. So Cancer rising puts this situation of Aries up in the 10th house. The 10th house is your career, your profession, your ambition, your motivation for doing your business. It is your how you are known. It is how you achieve in your business up at the top of your chart. And so this movement is going to bring, sorry about it, Cancer rising, lack of clarity to your business and your business ventures. It is going to get less clear how to succeed in business for Cancer risings. But what it's also going to do is allow the way you are successful in business to be more spiritual, to be more aligned with something beyond here, something more creative. It's now not going to be nuts and bolts, follow this script and everything will work a certain kind of way. For my Cancer risings, this is going to be a time of, I just feel like this is what I need to be doing, and I don't know why. I can't explain it, but there is a real drive for me to lead in this new way. And then you're just going to try it, because Aries likes to try it. And then you're going to see, did it work? Did I like that? Did it feel good to me? Cancer rising, you're going to worry a lot about this. I can't tell you not to worry. You're Cancer rising. You're going to worry, because Cancer rising, you're like constantly feeling all the feelings and not just your own. And I want to make sure that you know, worry doesn't help the situation. I mean, it probably doesn't hurt the situation all that much either, but taking action based on worry absolutely can hurt the situation. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to dissolve the need for anybody else to tell you that you're okay, you're doing it right, you're following a system. I want you to be internally aware of what's working and less interested in somebody else telling you this is the recipe to follow. I want you to get a reset on what you even want to be when you grow up. Like, what do you want to be known for? What do you want the ambition of your career to even be? And again, back to the enoughness, you don't need to prove anything to anybody. You don't need to show anybody the math behind the decisions you're making in your business, Cancer rising. What are you going to develop? So you dissolve all of that stuff. What are you going to develop? More intuitive action, more leadership that comes from a place that you can't really define. So you're not going to be able to like point to a degree framed on the wall. You're not going to be able to point to certification that makes you know what you know. You know what you know because you know what you know, and you're okay with people not really understanding what that is. You're also going to, even though this is Aries up at the top of your chart and usually moving pretty quickly, you're going to learn to not have as much attachment to fast action because this is a 14-year transit. You are going to, by the time we get to 2039, have a completely different relationship with creativity and trust for divine action or divine intervention in your business. Sounds pretty good to me. All right, Leo rising. Where my Leo rising's at, because y'all got Aries in the 9th house. So this is the house of academia, international travel. This is the house of astrology and law and philosophy and religion. So there's already a lot of like dogmatic stuff hanging out in the 9th house. And this is where you're going to start to notice, because of Neptune being in your 9th house, Leo rising, that there is less interest in dogma. There's less interest in the rules of certain religions or philosophies or ways of life. You are going to be more interested in getting out and experiencing things than reading about those things. You're going to be more interested in doing a deep dive that allows you to taste the tastes of a place and to experience the textures of what you would wear in a place and feel the music move through you of a place, rather than majoring in something or doing a deep dive or writing a dissertation on something. You're going to actually be more guided from within on a lot of your adventuring. Your dissolve, your dissolution, your 14-year dissolve note is anything rigid, anything systems based that doesn't align with who you are now, anything that makes you feel like your religion or spiritual awareness is right and anybody else's is wrong, that's got to go. And of course, back to the enoughness of it all, thinking that you can learn enough to have it all figured out. No, you can't. Hopefully you already know that. There's no such thing as knowing enough to have it all figured out. The only time we get it all figured out is when we're no longer here, and then we go somewhere that we get let in on all the jokes. So don't stress yourself out about what you're trying to learn about anything over these 14 years. Instead, go with, I want to experience it. I want experiential learning instead of book learning. What are you going to develop? You are going to develop an intuitive understanding of dogma, of systems, of religions, of spirituality, of journalism, of astrology, of whatever, of travel, whatever it is that you go and do, law, any of that. If you are in law school right now, Leo rising, you are going to really enjoy that you can now structure your own practice around the leadership that you are developing for trusting that you know what your specialty needs to be, rather than following some recipe that you were given as a part of your learning. Okay, get any questions you got in the chat. This is the last sign before I take a break to check on y'all in the live chat. And of course, hey, replay crew, make sure you ask your questions in the comments below. I will be circling back around to check on you. Virgo rising. Virgo rising. This moves Aries over to your 8th house. This is a dark house. The 8th house is the place where we go for entrepreneurship, other people's money. It's sex, it's death, it's the occult, it's magic, it's a lot of woo, it's a lot of stuff we can't see. That 8th house, if you've got Aries there, because you are a Virgo rising, you're already used to the relationship with the 8th house being a little weird, because you've got Aries, a very bright, I want to be seen sign, in a very dark, I don't want to be seen by anybody house. And so there's already a push-pull there. And so what happens for these 13, 14 years for you of Neptune in Aries in your 8th house, Virgo rising, is that you are going to start to release some of the concern you have about what you can't see. Like, you may have come to peace with the dark houses and what you can't see and what you can't control, but there's still a little thing kind of itching at the back of your brain going, yeah, but I really would like to get in there and figure out what's going on. There's just a little concern about what I can't see and what I might want to do if I could only see it. Neptune is going to help you let go of needing that at all, because Neptune's going to bring more mystery to an already mysterious place in your chart. And Neptune's going to say, make up your own story. Go ahead. I'm the planet of creativity. I'm visiting your 8th house. What story do you want to be here? What would you like the 8th house to be all about? Because that story right there is absolutely what the 8th house is about for you. The end. Amen. We don't need to worry about it any deeper than any of that. So you're going to be able to release some of that what might feel irrational fear. You're going to be able to release any fear of death or of the death of a loved one, or not being able to control money coming in, or any sexual hangups that you've got. Any of that stuff that is 8th house, you're going to be able to let go of some of that control urge that you may currently feel. This is a really exciting time if you allow yourself to get to know yourself differently. And because you are Virgo rising, you're already mutable, so you might be pretty open to that. But because you're an earth sign, you kind of like things the way you like them. And anybody who's ever known a Virgo knows you like things the way you like things. But if I tell you maybe you like things this other way too, why don't you try that out? I hope you will allow this time to guide you to try that out. What are you going to dissolve? You are going to dissolve old fears. You are going to dissolve your control freak tendencies. I know Virgos are like, what? How am I going to dissolve my control freak tendencies? Please. You will. You will. You're also going to allow yourself to dissolve lack of trust around resources and money flowing into you with ease. And any kind of intimacy hangups or kinks that you feel shame around, you're going to start letting those go. This can be a really exciting transit for you, Virgo risings, and I hope you allow it to really dig up and change the creativity around your 8th house, because that's a pretty powerful house for this to be happening in. What are you going to develop? Virgo rising, you're going to develop deeper connection with everything that you've ever known on a soul level. And if you don't right now feel like you know all that much on a soul level, good news. You're about to get a 14 year course in how to connect at a soul level with things that have previously been hidden to you. That's going to feel really good. You're going to enjoy the pleasure of surrender. You're going to enjoy allowing a transformation to be the most creative thing that's ever happened to you. And you're going to allow that to bring in more money and revenue and excitement that you don't control how it happens. It just shows up. And I can tell you, as someone who's done a lot of 8th house work, when we let the money just flow into us and in that 8th house and don't worry about how it's going to get there, it feels really good. It's kind of amazing. All right, so let me check on y'all in the chat and see how we're doing at this little break time. Okay. Michelle says, crazy when I plan time for the Zooms, I get a last minute conflict or disruption. This Zoom on the fly feels like more fun. I'm so glad it landed well for you and your timing. It is awesome to have you here. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Aries is my 8th house with natal Mercury and Chiron. Okay, so EJ, I just gave it to you. I just gave you that 8th house tour. How you feel? How you feel? Kelly says, holy crap. Okay, I hope that's a good holy crap. Hi from Reno, Nevada. Neptune in my 9th house. Is that where it's traveling, Jeannie? Is that the Aries is your 9th house, or is it that your natal Neptune is in the 9th house? I'm curious. Jackie, 8th house also. Okay, cool. Excellent. You need a good old typing stand. I do, Belinda. Or yes, a typing stand, or even like a chorus, a show choir. We would have like the sheet music would go on a music stand. Even that would be great. But yes, I do. And I have over here a tripod that connects to my iPad. I have a tripod that connects to my iPad right here, and I'm thinking I could probably come up with something over there. I just need to get creative about it. Let's see here. 3rd house for Kumar. Good. 8th house for me. Preview period last year was me scrambling to get my hours done to complete my coaching program. Aries is my ADHD energy in full force. Okay, so Jennifer, how did it feel hearing about that 8th house shift? That's a pretty big deal. I really like that the preview period was you finishing up all of the detail oriented things that you could control, because you're kind of not now going to be able to control all that much. Yay, I'll take that, please, says Kelly. Okay, good, good. Belinda says, so on point. Oh my gosh. Good. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad this is landing. Cancer rising, less clear how to succeed in biz when self-employed. Yikes. Yeah, so Michelle, what that means is, though, more trust. So Cancer rising, Aries in the 10th house, this is going to be more trust that the action you're taking is informing you with what's working, that there's not a formula you need to follow, and you need to not look at what other people are doing and worry, am I doing the right stuff? Because the right stuff for Aries 10th house with Neptune coming there is going to be, I'm not all that clear. I'm going to ask you to trust. I'm going to need you to develop that gut instinct and allow it to be a little more creative than it might be normally for your business. So I don't see that as a yikes as much as a, okay, little intimidating opportunity. But I'm excited for you. I think this actually aligns really well with the work you've been doing in this past year, Michelle. I really do. Belinda says, Leo's my moon, so I pay attention to this because it's the backseat driver of the car. Yeah, Belinda, you can. You can, because that is how, so basically what we're doing when I say you could put your moon or your sun in the space of the rising. Of course, we want to do that if we don't know the rising sign, because we don't know time of birth, and that happens for a lot of people. I understand that. So that's why we get used to being able to put the sun or the moon in one of those spots. In that rising space, putting one of those there. What it does when I tell you you can look at all three signs for this is because there is a version of your chart that we could run with your moon in the first house. Where does that put everything? There's a version of your chart we could create with your sun in the first house. Where does that put everything? So the primary one is going to be with your rising sign here, and therefore Neptune in wherever Aries is based on your rising sign. But you can also do a version of this that is your sun in the first house, your moon in the first house. You could do this with your natal Neptune in the first house if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't, because Neptune is an outer, and so we don't really have the same kind of relationship with it that we do with the luminaries, and the luminaries are the sun and the moon. But play with that and see if it feels like, whoa, because especially if your backseat driver of your life car, aka your natal moon, has been a big factor in how your car moves. Like if you've got a rising that doesn't like moving, you've got a fixed sign rising that wants to stay stuck in park forever in the garage you were born into, you got a backseat driver that's going, no, let's go, let's go. And the backseat driver is actually able to get the life car moving, then you may find that what resonates with you more than a rising sign horoscope is, in fact, a moon sign horoscope. And then the same would be true if you feel that way about your navigator or your sun sign. So anybody who's in the life car that's doing a little more driving than the actual driver, absolutely, you would want to use this method. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Excellent. Oh, yay, I made it. Good to see you, Danny. Thank you for joining us. As Virgo rising, I feel like, this is Jennifer, I'm already moving in this direction. Yeah, I believe so. Like a progression that's already in progress for some time. Yeah, for sure. Definitely because you already got a preview of it last year, but because it also means that previously Neptune was in the house before that. So, and I mean before that in the order that I just went. And so it means that you are finishing up Neptune having been in your ninth house, right? Because is your ninth house Pisces? No, your seventh house is Pisces. So Neptune is coming from having been in your partnership. So what's been going on in your ninth house where you've been doing all this learning? That's your Taurus. Oh, Uranus has been in Taurus. Uranus has been in your ninth house. So you've been already getting that shakeup and that energy of disruption around your higher learning, which is a big part of what you've been experiencing through your coaching. Yeah, definitely. This has been happening for, I would say, knowing that Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. I would say it's at least been going on that long. You tell me. I'm super, super excited. I might be why I think I talk first and think later with natal Mercury in Aries. Definitely. Keith has natal Mercury in Aries, EJ. And I actually made a joke at one point when we would go to, like, there's a day spa that we used to go to get massages down here in Santa Monica. And we would start to come off the elevator and I would say, this is your reminder. Your Mercury's in Aries. And he would go, "Cool," because he would come off the elevator like da 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 da, ready to like talk and have a big booming Sagittarius rising voice. And I'm like, I need to remind your Mercury, shh, 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 shh. We're in a spa. We're in a spa. Be quiet. Say less. Say less. And occasionally I would just feel the need to go, I'm sorry. Let me apologize on behalf of this man-child. His Mercury's in Aries. What can I say? And anybody who knows Mercury in Aries understands, because Mercury in Aries is like, let's fight, or let's yell, or let's run away. It's a lot. It's a lot. So yes, you absolutely do have that. It is in fact a feature of Mercury in Aries. Yes. Transiting ninth house, not natal. Okay, good. Then you got yours. Perfect. Beautiful, Jeannie. Perfect. You are so welcome, Michelle. Absolutely my pleasure. Okay, Rain, Danny. Yes, Rain. I know. It's like I know y'all, and then I know your names here, and I don't want to dox you, but I also want to make sure you know I'm talking to you. But Rain, we'll do Rain because you're Rain here. You know I'm talking to you. We're gonna do fifth house in this next set that I'm about to do. So get ready. My natal is second house as well, which has meant a natal second house Neptune means a lot of mystery around how to make money. That's all right. Not worried about it. That's why I got an eighth house, because maybe my mystery is it doesn't have to be done in a second house kind of way, but that's natal. Yes, definitely. Scorpio rising, good. We're coming up on you. Aries sixth house. Okay, we're coming up on you, Joni. We're coming up on you along with my moon. Okay, good. We got you, baby. That's my cousin Joni right there. I'm so glad you could join us. Belinda, good. I'm glad you appreciate that. Aquarius with Aries rising, Leo moon. Thought I was supposed to be listening to the part that you talked about Leo moon rising too, so you get it now. Thanks. No, absolutely. That is so me, says EJ. Listen, it's a feature. It's believe me, as someone with a waterlogged Cancer Mercury, I kind of love the fire of an Aries Mercury. I just also am terrified of it. My Cancer stellium thinks it means we're always in a fight. Having a fire sign rising husband with lots of big Jupiter energy. He's Sagittarius rising and Pisces stellium for his sun and everything else, except for the Mercury that's over in Aries. Like there's a lot of fire and a lot of, and I go, oh my God, we're fighting. He's like, we're not fighting. I'm just talking loud. I'm like, oh, it's a fight. Cause I'm a Cancer stellium. We're always in a fight. All right. So here we go. Belinda, I have the same rising and moon. Good. Y'all, like, seriously, connect with one another. If you've got the same stuff, like, help each other with some of the reframes and the language around this, because it can be really helpful. All right, let's get back at it. Continue the chat. I will circle back around for your questions. And, of course, those of you watching in replay, hey, replay crew, make sure you drop your questions in the comments below. And those of you who are here in live chat, come back around when the replay is up and like say something in the chat, like drop me an emoji about, oh, that's a good one. Drop me an emoji for what is your takeaway for your Neptune in Aries era. What are you how would you represent it? And if you need two emojis, one for what you're dissolving and one for what you're developing, I'm okay with that. All right, Libra rising, it me. Libra rising. We got Neptune moving into your seventh house. That is your house of relationships. That is your house of one-on-one encounters. That is your house of partnerships. It can be business partners. It can be agents, managers, lawyers. It can also be your spouse or your hopeful spouse or your enemies that you know about. Like anybody one-on-one is represented in this seventh house. And so over these next 13, 14 years of your Neptune in Aries era, there's going to be a lot of transformation around how you define yourself through relationships. And Libra rising, you define yourself through your relationship with others. You don't know how to look into a mirror. You look into the eyes of another person and they reflect you back and you go, oh, it's me. So I only know who I am based on what y'all tell me I am. I don't actually have an opinion of what I am on my own because reflection doesn't work like that for Libra rising. Great. It's about to get really mysterious. Okay. Maybe I'll try like a new look. I've seriously had the exact same look since the time I cut off all my hair with like bangs and a bob my sophomore year of college. And since then, I've not changed my look. I have not changed my look since 1989. 1990. I got the bob in 90. I got the haircut in 90. I remember there's a picture of me and Robin Hitchcock and the guy I was hanging out with. We were just hanging out. We weren't doing anything. We're hanging out. The guy I was hanging out with we went to a series of concerts together, and I remember feeling like the hair was all about going to all these concerts. I remember a lot of my music life and working at the radio station with that haircut. But anyway, same look, same look, same look. Okay, so there may be a whole transformation around the relationship with others and therefore with self, because Libra. Okay, that's interesting. I like it. So it's going to be all types. Remember I said it's not just your +1 person. It's not just your spouse or your love partner. It's also business partners, legal partners, etc. Okay, so it says here, oh yes, do not lose your sense of self. Sense of self. Hilarious, Libras and sense of self. No. But as usual, Libra likes to people please. Again, all the air signs are known for doing this. So Libra rising, make sure that when you are getting through the mystery of understanding who you are through the lens of other people, you don't turn that into well, then I guess I'm all things. You still need to decide like what you are. It's just going to be confusing for a while what that might be, and that's so you can develop the inner knowing, the intra knowing. It's so you can develop that ability to know who you are and what you're about without relying on somebody else. There's also going to be opportunity for lots of increased intimacy for Libra risings. Yay! So what are you going to dissolve? Libra risings. You're going to dissolve that need to please all the people all the time, to be the best version of yourself for your partner. You're going to have less clarity around what even makes your partner happy. And you're also going to dissolve the need to put yourself after everybody else. I always say, you know, it's not like Libras put themselves last or Libra risings put themselves last, but they do put themselves way after the first dozen people that they're looking after. And so just don't put yourself last. You don't have to put yourself first, because I know you can't, Libra, but don't put yourself last. Put yourself like third, maybe. And what are you going to develop? Libra risings. You are going to develop more relationships that are built on connection and being creatively in tune with one another. You're going to have more collaboration that feels very creative and exciting. And you are going to feel that those who connect with you now in this 13-14 year era really get you in a way that you've not been gotten before. But in order for that to happen, you have to release the I am changing who I am because it pleases my person. You have to choose like what pleases this person. That's who I'm going to be. And then that's going to allow you to develop those relationships. I'm kind of excited about it. I know lack of clarity around relationship issues and all that, but that's okay. I date a totally mutable person. I said date. We're married, but we date. I date a totally mutable person. I am used to lots of lack of clarity around relationship stuff. It's okay. It's all right. So Neptune being there is just going to make it even more creative. Yay. Scorpio rising. Okay, Scorpio rising. First of all, thank you for coming to this video and allowing yourself to feel the vulnerability that is me about to tell you about you. Because I know Scorpio rising, you would prefer I don't know these things, but I know these things. So here's what I'm going to tell you. The 6th house is where Neptune is transiting for you for the next 13-14 years. So Scorpio rising, this is going to be an entire redo of your day-to-day life. The 6th house is where we do our daily dues. It is our habits. It is our way of eating, exercising, taking care of ourselves in terms of like hygiene and just practices. It is our pets also. So anything that is like a day-to-day routine, boring thing, it's about to get way more intuitively led and way less structured by whatever was structuring it before. So what was structuring it before? What was structuring it before was probably results. Like if I do this, I get that. So I'm going to behave in this kind of way on the daily in order to create this outcome. With Neptune touring your 6th house, there's going to be a lot less clarity around what does what. It's not going to be the straightforward, if I do X, Y happens, and then Z is the long-term result. Probably not. So it's going to be way more about what intuitively feels right around, I'm not a doctor, I don't play one on TV, this is not medical advice, around what you eat, what you take, how you do your exercising, what you do in terms of supplements or the ways that you care for yourself medically, what kinds of microdosing you might experiment with. Like all of that is now going to be more based on your gut and not based on how much research can you do to be sure that you trust what you're doing there. So the micro dose would be the word that I would give you for Scorpio rising for this era, because what it's going to do is create more of a, I'm going to experiment and then I'm going to see what the results are. And did I like the results? Was that creative enough? Did that feel like a spiritual download got to me and helped me make that choice? And if you like to only follow clear signs, right now, start making a list of things that you will accept as signs. I was actually just talking with somebody about this on a private Zoom, a private chart harmony Zoom. We were talking about something that needed doing, not related to this Neptune transit, but I said, I want you to make a Virgo list. This person happened to be a Virgo. So I'm like, I want you to make a Virgo list of what is the criteria that has to be met. And then every time you feel yourself leaving your spiritual intuition around things and moving into physical now, body, brain stuff, go to that list. Because what you don't want to do is get into list head without a list, because you'll be in list head looking for everything, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, and that's not going to serve you. Especially Scorpio rising, you're really good at identifying every little thing, and you want to make sure that you're not running a highlighter over everything that could be wrong. You're instead going, don't know, I'm not going to get a lot of clarity around this, or I'm following the list that was made when I was over here, not in my Neptune Aries era. Something that will allow you to trust your body more, trust your gut more, like quite literally trust your gut, and allow things to be micro while you figure out and recalibrate what needs to happen. So what are you going to dissolve? Scorpio risings, you are going to dissolve anything that felt like it had to be the routine, or it had to be the mindset, or it had to be the formula that was being followed. Any of that stuff, gone. That is a thing of the past. What are you going to develop? A routine and a habit pack that feels more deeply connected to you spiritually. This can be, you now don't go for the gym machine workout, you do yoga. And that doesn't mean that you need to turn down the intensity of what you're doing in terms of physical activity. It just means something that is more aligned with a sacred practice. That is going to feel more devotional in the way you do it. This is when we do what is it, intuitive eating. And I know that that has been trademarked and turned into a whole business, and then that itself would be considered a rigid thing. So not that, but the actual kind of like, what am I actually hungry for? What am I actually seeking? And allow it to not make sense to anybody else. That was the thing that I said at the very beginning. Allow it to not make sense to anybody else. The mantra I gave to Aries rising, in fact, right? Okay, so that's it for our Scorpio rising. You may now go back into hiding Scorpio rising, because I know being seen is a lot. Scorpio rising is like, you don't know me. I know, I don't. I just have some ideas. It's all right. Okay, next up, our Sagittarius rising. Okay, so this is my spouse, my spouse, my spouse, my plus one. Sagittarius rising, you are getting a visit of Neptune to your 5th house. And your 5th house, nice, hot, creative house already, because Aries 5th house is like, let's go, let's be seen, let's try it out, let's take the risk, let's gamble, let's go, let's go, let's go. So that 5th house already with Aries there for my Sagittarius risings is in great shape. The 5th house, though, is the place where we take risks. It's where our kids are. It's where if we have affairs, anything that we're like trying to kind of keep on the DL starts to happen in the 5th house, but also being seen creatively, taking the stage, being passionate about your creativity. You are going to have Neptune, the planet of creativity and storytelling and mystery, in a house that says, come on up on stage and let's see that. Let's see that at work. So this is actually a really exciting time. This is going to be a time when you're going to be able to heal things that your inner child may have had to deal with, especially for those of us who are childless by choice. We looked at the 5th house for inner child work and why it is we have a different relationship with breeding than it seems everybody else. It's not everybody else. The stats are actually a little shocking, and we've been lied to. There are a lot of people who don't do kids. And so what is then in your 5th house, if not children? It is your relationship with your inner child, who you were as a child. There's a lot of healing that can happen with this transit of Neptune in your 5th house. This is going to be a time to trust your visions. It's going to be a time to let romance back in. It's going to be a time to get more creative around how you woo and how you show up on stage. So this would be a time for doing some rebranding around the characters that you play. If you're an actor, this would be a time, if you're doing some writing, to really connect with what is the spirit story that wants to be told. What is the gift that I want to give to the world that is coming from a place that I don't really understand. Sagittarius rising, you are going to dissolve any pressure around your enoughness or how you are defined or labeled by others being a problem, because the mystery that is now going to be in your fifth house is going to mean you get to reparent anything that made you have low enoughness around showing up, sharing your talents, taking risks, being seen, and also the inner child work that goes along with that. You are also going to dissolve anything that makes you chase after ideas that are not that solid. And I know this seems a little contradictory to what I just said about how you're not going to have a lot of clarity around things. But what I mean is, this is now, I don't go buy lottery tickets because it's time to buy lottery tickets. It's, I'm going to follow this impulse that I'm having to go put all my money on this number while that wheel is spinning. Like, it's going to be more, I just know it, I am aligned with this, and less of a, well, let's take a chance. So whereas the Scorpio rising has a mantra of going micro, the Sagittarius rising is going to have a go all in, but only when feeling very, very, very in tune with that download, that messaging. What are you going to develop? Creativity beyond your wildest dreams. Nice. Okay, Sagittarius rising, creativity beyond your wildest dreams. I'm here for that. More passion from the heart, more Tigger-like playfulness, and being exuberant in the love that you share with others, especially your kids, but anybody, and especially with yourself and your inner kid that you're healing, and just feeling as though there's a soul connection to the art you create and how you're seen in the world. Okay, Capricorn rising. Sagittarius rising always has good news. I don't know. Sagittarius is like the sign everybody wants to be, because it's just always good news. Capricorn rising. We are going to have this tour of Neptune in your fourth house of family, home, your roots, your ancestry, the place you grew up, the recipes of your grandmother's grandmother, things like that. Also, your physical home can be here, and the parent that was more invisible in your life is a fourth house parent. Our parents tend to be fourth house, 10th house in the natal chart. And so we have a fourth house parent, which is the one that's kind of behind the scenes. And then we have a 10th house parent that's the more public parent. In old traditional astrology that loved to gender everything, it's the dad is in the 10th house because he's out making all the money, and the mom's in the fourth house because she stays in the house. In my life, mom was in the 10th house because mom was my dad, and dad was gone. And because dad was gone, that puts him in the fourth house. If you're adopted, your birth parents are in the fourth house, your adopted parents are in the 10th house, that sort of thing. Okay, so just to make it a little more in sync with modern times and not the old ways of saying all the things. I'm sorry, my butt is really bony, and because my butt is really bony, I find sitting on it for too long to be uncomfortable, so I've got to find ways to create pillows out of my crisscross applesauce seating situation over here. Thank you for enjoying. Yes, I'm already sitting on a bolster on a padded chair. It's still not enough. I have to come up with some more padding for my butt. Capricorn rising. So all this fourth house stuff, this is going to create a place of deep healing with the stories of your childhood, your ancestry, your roots, things that may have been a little challenging to confront previously. This is also a really great time when Neptune's in the fourth house. I have a warning for this one, but the good news is while Neptune's in the fourth house, we want to do renovations. We want to do things that make the house more creative. Maybe you even want to go move to be by the water. You're going to have this pull that is going to feel not at all like it makes sense, but it's going to feel really important, and it is. You can honor that. You can absolutely have a complete redo on what it is to have a home, whether that's retelling the story of your childhood or your ancestry, or getting to know your ancestors in a way that you haven't previously. Maybe you learn more about your lineage, or moving your entire house into a more water-like experience. Here's the warning. When Neptune transits the fourth house, it can mean pipes burst. It can mean plumbing problems. Neptune is famous for taking water situations that feel solid and making them not solid. I remember specifically the situation that happened with the submersible that imploded was when Saturn and Neptune started getting within orb of one another in a very specific transit that we will soon be experiencing the punctuation mark on here on February 20th. And I'm just watching all the natural disasters. I'm watching all the volcanoes and all the weather. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, the combination of Uranus finishing up in Taurus while Neptune is entering Aries and Saturn's finishing up Pisces. I'm like, there's just so many stories on all of this. What does it mean for you, Capricorn rising? Make sure your pipes are good. Make sure everything has been double check, triple check. If you're buying a home, don't just have a normal inspector inspect things. Actually hire a specialist for the pipes, for the pool you want to put in, whatever it is, because this is stuff that can become problematic with Neptune being in your fourth house. And we don't need a flood. We don't need that to be the thing that makes us change what's happening in the fourth house. So what are you going to dissolve? Capricorn rising, you are going to dissolve any inherited traits that don't serve you. Meaning, well, I'm an alcoholic because everybody in my family's been an alcoholic. New story. Neptune is now in your fourth house. That's their story. That's not your story. Your story is what? Doesn't matter what happened with them. All it takes to be a completely new generation, new story is a decision to do so. And in Aries, we get to do that. Anything that is specific to the roles you play in your family, this is good with like sibling order, birth order. If there's anything that you are always the victim or you are always the one who's a basket case, whatever the stories are around labels within your family, we're done with those. Those don't exist anymore. You do not have the need nor the desire to keep everything together for the family. This is a time when you get to go, sorry about it. We're going to make some changes, and we're going to make those changes creative, and we're going to make them soul-based, and it doesn't really matter that it screws up the family because y'all can figure that part out for yourself. For me, what's more important is doing things that are aligned with these emotions and this connection to storytelling and creativity in a new way. What are you going to develop? You're going to develop learning how to relax more. I know I just said that to a Capricorn rising, and you are saying, how very dare. I know. How very dare I suggest that you rest more. I want you to rest more. I want you to develop a rest ritual. I want you to develop a sleep schedule. I want you to enjoy allowing yourself to reset by resting. And I want you to allow yourself to meditate into sleep if you are open to doing that, and allow yourself to connect with where you're going more than where you've been. This is where, again, we're dissolving that ancestral story and developing the future you story. So do it, Capricorn rising. I know you got this. I know you got this. Aquarius rising. Oh, my beloved Aquarius aliens. I love y'all so much. Happy Aquarius season. I am going to be doing one of these for Aquarius for my revisioning membership very, very soon. I will have the Aquarius body one done. And the fun part is that traditionally Aquarius is ruled by Daddy Saturn, same as Capricorn. And so while this will be the same and this will be the same, everything else is going to be different-ish because Aquarius, they are very different children of Daddy Saturn. But I hope you will join me over in revisioning if you would like to have the entire set of the body through the signs. I'm having so much fun doing that. And we're specifically working up Aquarius right now. And so my focus is on all the Aquarius things because I'm developing that one sheet. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius rising, not surprisingly, this moves your Aries into your third house. Third house, communication, social media, close in travel, neighbors, siblings, cousins, that kind of like close in. Like I like to say, I don't have it. This is a remote control for my fan, but let's pretend this is a phone or a BlackBerry or something. This third house is how we do tech like this, not the big internet. That one's 11th house, like the big internet, the cloud. That's 11th house. Third house, little tech, things that we touch and spend like intimate time with. Okay, so over the next 13, 14 years, Aquarius rising, you are going to have a shift in clarity around how you communicate, how you write, how you do social media, how you do your newsletter, your Substack, whatever you've got going on with that. You're going to have a completely different relationship with social media by the time we get out of this transit in 2039. But you are also going to do things on a way more intuitive basis. You are going to get those divine downloads and then write that email because it feels like time, not because the schedule says it's time. Are you seeing a theme here where there's a lot of like schedule, recipe, follow, framework turned into, no, my gut says this is what I need to do. My creativity download, I dreamt last night, a hummingbird buzzed by me and I was thinking about, and that is the sign. Like, what are the kind of signs that will allow you to give yourself permission to do things differently and stop giving a fuck what anybody thinks? Aquarius rising already doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Aquarius, anything in the life car, doesn't really care what other people think. If you are someone with Aquarius in your big three and you do care a lot what other people think, it's not the Aquarius, it's something else. You got something that cares a lot what people think in there somewhere, and I could name a few signs that are the contenders for that reason, but it's not the Aquarius. Aquarius doesn't give a fuck. Okay, so you are going to get more and more in touch with your alien upbringing, Aquarius, and this is going to feel really yummy. If you've never had a blog or a vlog, a newsletter, or a mailing list of any kind, this would be a time to do that, because you're going to feel inspired to share ideas and creative downloads, and a little mystery will be a part of that. And because you're having all of those good, yummy feelings, use them, share them with the world. And don't do it on any kind of formula. Do it on the formula of because I fucking feel like it. What are you going to dissolve? Aquarius rising. I don't know why I start swearing when I get to Aquarius, but it's because Aquarius does not give a fuck what anybody thinks, and that's why. Okay, what are you going to dissolve? Aquarius rising. You are going to dissolve anything that has you thinking there has to be a rule, there has to be a recipe, there has to be an influencer guide to how to do social media, there has to be a good relationship with my sibling. If you don't have a good relationship with your sibling, okay, it's fine, let it go. It is not a requirement that you have anything go a certain kind of way in these third house areas. This would also be, someone who like lives in a place where everybody drives, everybody has a car, and you're like, I don't have a car, and people go, what, how do you not have a car? It's like, why would I have to have a car? There are lots of ways to get around without a car. Or I don't have this social media. You have to have a Facebook. No, I don't. No, I don't. You absolutely do not have to have these things. And this is going to be where you're able to dissolve the need to check with anybody on any of that. You already don't check, but if you have had places where you think, I think I have to do this, no, you don't. And you're going to really know it this time. You are also going to allow yourself to dissolve the need to have all the answers. And I know Aquarius rising, you actually do have all the answers. You have access. You have access to all the answers because they're not all yours. Ideas are free and running out there all over the place, and you just pluck down what feels like you need to say it when you need to say it. But I don't want you to feel like you have to be the person who does that. What are you going to develop? Aquarius rising, you are going to develop your ability to use communication non-verbally. How can you communicate with others just by agreeing to meet each other in dream state? This would be, I recommend Aquarius risings and anyone who's turned on by this suggestion, get the book Creative Dreaming. It's the first present Keith gave me when we were dating. We hadn't even met in person yet. We only knew each other online and on the phone. He sent me right before I went to travel to meet him in person for the first time. He sent me the book Creative Dreaming, and it's a book about lucid dreaming and how you can train your brain to do lucid dreaming. Because on our phone conversations, we were talking about lucid dreaming because he's big fan, I'm big fan. We love meeting each other in our dreams and doing things there and hanging out and having adventures together. And so we can actually coordinate doing that. Aquarius rising, I would definitely get into more of that. And I would say you need to develop for yourself the ability to speak more from your gut, your soul, your heart, and less from your mind. That one's going to be a little bit harder to do, but after the tour of Neptune of your third house, by the end of 2039, you're going to have that all figured out. Sorry, by March of 2039, you're going to have that all sorted out. All right. Last sign, and then I'm coming back to the chat, and then I will give you all some suggestions for ways to continue playing with this some like mantras or questions to ask yourself if you want to do any journaling or whatever. All right, Pisces rising. You have Neptune visiting your second house of earned income, revenue, regular paycheck, your stuff, like your belongings. So when Neptune comes to a money house, things get less clear. I mentioned that I have Neptune in the second house natally, and that means I have lack of clarity around how to make money in any kind of normal way. Cut to today, I've developed and run multiple businesses with partners and without partners, and my money almost entirely comes from 8th house area, entrepreneurship. So if you are someone, Pisces rising, who has been counting on regular paycheck and it looks like this and it shows up on this timeline, Neptune visiting your second house is going to say, this might get a little creative. This might become less consistent. This might become less of a thing that you can count on. And we may need to start putting some energy over into your 8th house for letting money come in without your control. So that part can be a little scary, but it's going to allow you, Pisces rising, to do more of the things that inspire you and see if there's a way to monetize those things than having a jobby job because you need to have a jobby job. So if you've been holding on to a jobby job because it makes other people happy, great news. Neptune's going to help you let go of that. You're going to be able to dissolve anything that feels like a normal situation there. And if it stays normal for the first couple of years, don't worry. Neptune's going to be there 13, 14 years. So you've got time to decide, like, how do I want this to change? How do I want to dissolve anything that brings me fear around money? Oh, speaking of divine downloads, I just got an idea. Pisces rising and anyone who's having money scarcity concerns, which I know a lot of us are because of the world right now, but I would look at the work of Tosha Silver. She has a great series of books and materials on the mindset of it's not your money. Money is the collective imaginary. It's not real. We decided, this rock has value. So you give me money or give me a piece of plastic that says there's money. We have to trust that. That's going to get really interesting over the next few years, that we got to trust what money actually even is. But there's a barter, there's an exchange of value for value, but it's only because we said this has value, this has different value than like these stones, that kind of thing. It's all just collective imaginary anyway. And so the Pisces rising is going to be great. I love this. I'm already so woo about the way I see capitalism. Good news. You're going to be able to get a lot of help with Neptune visiting your second house to changing how you do achievement, how you do worth, how you do enoughness, how you do stuff. You're not going to be in a place of scarcity around how do I make myself fit into the capitalist machine. You're going to be like, oh, good, the world is catching up with me. And as Pisces rising, you're already psychic and ahead of everybody and wise beyond your years. So now you're going to get to see everybody kind of catching up to that with you. And you've just had Neptune in your first house for the past 14 years. So you are already transformed by Neptune. Now it's just going to take focus on your stuff. So what are you going to develop? So you dissolve all that other stuff. You're going to develop more internal enoughness, more awareness that you are going to be okay because you are okay, not because you have things. And you are going to enjoy the exchange of value for value that is less capitalist and more energetic. Again, you probably do a lot of that already, but now you're really going to enjoy that. So that sounds like fun to me. Excuse me, I am having fizzy water for the first time in days because I've been on this whole, I got to cut out fizzy water. So this is my first fizzy water in seriously 4 days, and I'm burping and I love it. I have missed my fizzy water so much. Oh my God. Okay, I'll come back to this section here that I want to give y'all, but I want to check on your chat first. Okay. Let's see here. We've got, yes, excellent. All right. Lots of my chart too. Lots of air in my chart. Yeah. Lots of air in the chart and a Pisces moon. So you've got like a gajillion D ideas. This is for EJ. You've got a gajillion D ideas and things that want to come out all the time, always. And then Pisces is like, but we're not going to do anything with these ideas because that's not what you're supposed to do with ideas. Ideas exist because that's fun. That feels good. Let's think that. Let's play with that. I know that's a lot of fun. Do y'all like my very Aquarius season lighted, mirrored lipstick situation? I mean, come on. That was made for Aquarius. Come on. All right. My question about the Scorpio rising, as my wife Kate is one, she also has her natal Neptune in the first house. Wonder if she gets a double wallop of Neptune energy as it aspects her natal Neptune. So she's Scorpio rising, which puts Neptune visiting her, sixth house? So that's in conjunct to her first house, Kelly. And that in conjunct is the 150 degree. Yeah, that's a 150 degree angle, and that's not considered one of the Ptolemaic major aspects. That's one that is felt medically, though. And so what I would say is she's finishing having had a trine of Neptune, because Scorpio rising with Pisces Neptune, where it has been for 2011 to now, that experience is something that was opening up free-flowing energy for her natal Neptune. She is now not going to be experiencing that. I share that with her. I share a natal Scorpio, and while natal Neptune and Scorpio was getting the transit of Neptune in Pisces, it was feeling like an open gate of energy. I hope that helps. Okay, good. Jennifer says, my 11-year-old is Libra rising. 13-year-old son is Cancer rising. This will be an integral time for both of them in terms of figuring out who they are and what to do with no path. Jennifer, I think everyone their age is going to have a completely new relationship with self-discovery based on what the world is about to do. And we're going to look at that and go, you know what? They're well prepared for this because we Gen Xers were their parents and had the ability. Or are you super young Gen Xer, or are you what they call the elder millennial? I think you might be the elder millennial. You may not even be elder. I'm putting that label on you thinking I know your chart better than I may. I know I was working on your chart a lot a couple years ago with the Planet Planner. But I think though, those of us youngest Gen Xers and the first bit of the millennials have done a really good job preparing kiddos for, you're going to get to figure out what this is. And that's not shirking responsibility. That's giving you sovereignty. That's giving you the energy for what it is that you need to decide you want to be and make it okay. We teach them enoughness really, really well, I think. Michelle says, my emoji is bloop, upside down smiley face. My word of the year is systems. And I was planning on focusing on numbers and stats for career. Learning to follow my gut more sounds easier and like less work. So Michelle, the work then comes from trusting that this is the right path. That is the work. Because when we're like, I was planning to look at numbers, I was planning to look at a recipe, I was planning to look at a formula, and now instead I get to trust my gut. At first that feels like freedom, and then you start to doubt, like, oh God, is it safe to trust my gut? Is it? And I want you to know that then that's the work. The work is saying, yes, it is safe to trust my gut. Yes, it is safe to go on this journey. Yes, it is fine to have this adventure. Consider, like, I believe we've been getting early signs of Neptune leaders in Aries through the people who've been murdered in Minnesota. I believe we are seeing people using Aries energy. I'm not going to wait for there to be a movement. I'm not going to wait for the government to come out and help us. I'm not going to wait for there to be a collective swell. I'm going down and protecting people. I'm going down and looking out for people. And then these are people whose names are going to be remembered in a very Neptune storytelling, let's look at what the actual story is kind of way. While meanwhile, all the mouthpieces are saying, no, the weapon was brandished and the car was a weapon and all of this stuff. And we go, you know what? You can fool a bunch of idiots. You can't fool Neptune, because Neptune is the planet of the storytelling, and Neptune's pissed at y'all. Neptune's pissed at y'all for the way you are manipulating storytelling. I just feel like we're already seeing an Aries-Neptune relationship that just requires an awful lot of trust. So see how that feels. I do like your emoji, but maybe there's another one that's a little more like fire. I don't know. We'll see. But it's good. I like to. You need to activate systems to make my workflow efficient. Of course. Yeah, I'm not saying abandon all systems, Michelle. It's absolutely not abandon all systems. It's go with the systems that your gut and the spiritual download says that's it. That's the one. And you don't need to back it up with a reason. Like, nobody's asking you to explain why did you choose what you chose. You chose what you chose. Period. The end. Love it. Okay, Jeannie, does flooding water issues apply to people who have natal Neptune in the fourth house? In whole sign houses, my natal Neptune is fourth house, though in Placidus, it's in my fifth house. You know, that's the kind of thing where I go, boy, I prefer Placidus because it gets Neptune out of my fourth house. Most astrologers would tell you if you have a house system you could choose that gets Neptune out of your fourth house natally, you want to do that. Because, yeah, a natal Neptune fourth house is going to present a consistent lifelong opportunity to drain through that bottom of the chart energy. And mysteriously, why is this happening? And so this would be where I go, even if you prefer whole sign houses, know that then you get to do remediation around that natal Neptune so that it doesn't create a drain around your literal house. Of a leaky pipe or a problem of water rushing in unexpectedly. So similarly, I have the Saturn second house placement. That is bottom of the chart, second, third, fourth, fifth. Those are all potential drains. And second house Neptune says, you can earn money, but we're going to drain it down like this for you. And that's when I go, well, so then I don't like having consistent paycheck money because it ends up going away in ways that I can't even figure out because Neptune mystery. So what I'm going to do is get creative, and I'm going to create a business that is entirely done out of the eighth house so that the money that comes in may not be in my control, but it's also not driving down the drain. So see if you can do some remediation around fourth house, 10th house, like where it's almost like feng shui. If you have a drain that is exposed in your kitchen, your bathroom, wherever, the feng shui tip is to hang a mirror on the ceiling facing the drain so that the drain does not drain your money, your riches, your energy, your wealth, vitality, health, all of it. So that mirror helps it. What would be the version of a 10th house mirror for your fourth house natal Neptune drain? That's what I would ask you to play with. And you've probably already been doing that in your life. And of course, when you switch to Placidus chart, it's not even a problem. And that's what I love about using different house systems is I can choose to believe that when we're talking about Neptune, we use the Placidus version of my chart. And then it's true, period. But then if there's a sudden flood in my house, I go, ooh, I must have switched into some whole sign Neptune fourth house situation over here. I need to do something to get my energy for Neptune pushed back up into the fifth house. And of course, with you, it's as easy as changing the house system. But for others, it's like, what is the version of hanging a mirror above a drain, the feng shui, right? Play with that. Okay, cool, excellent. Malene, hello, good to see you, sweetheart. Neptune and Sagittarius. Where is your Aries? Oh, Aries rising. Excellent. So if you got here late, Malene, you were the very first one I talked about for this transiting Neptune in your first house. I am excited to see what you think about it. Make sure you comment in the replay comments. Let's see, my start of the year tarot poll was all about trusting my intuition and psychic abilities, which fits the sixth house message. Bingo. Love it, Joni. Love it. That is fabulous. All right. Here is what I want you to take as your takeaway. Oh my gosh, we went 90 minutes. I was thinking this would be a short one. Ha! Silly Bonnie. Okay. Here's what I want you to journal, sigil, create an altar around, mantra when you're meditating, whatever it is. I want you to take whatever it was that I said is your dissolve statement and say, thank you, whatever that thing is that I'm dissolving. Thank you for having been such a part of my life. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for the good work that you've done. Thank you for the focus that you've held in my life, in my chart, for my whole life so far. I release you lovingly. I release you fully. I allow you to dissolve slowly, subtly, and fully, because Neptune doesn't move fast, but Aries does. So we want to make sure that we are allowing whatever is dissolving to just gradually wash away. Let it erode. It doesn't have to be extracted like Aries would want to do. This isn't Mars. This is Neptune. Slow dissolve. I allow it. And thank you. Always thank you. And then I allow you to move on. Thank you. And goodbye, friendships that are not aligned with soul me. Thank you. And goodbye, habits that are not in my best interest for where I'm headed. Whatever that is that I told you to dissolve, that is that part of your mantra, journal prompt, meditation, activation. Then, for the one that was develop, welcome what it is that I'm developing. So I gave you, for each sign, I gave you dissolve and develop. So dissolve we've done, now develop. Thank you, whatever it is that I'm developing, for coming into my life. Thank you, whatever it is I'm developing, for joining me in my chart. Thank you for visiting my whatever house. Thank you for visiting Aries. I look forward to learning more about you and how to interact with you. I look forward to experiencing you as the rich storyteller, mystery creator, foggy experience haver. I look forward to not having all the answers about how this is going to develop, because knowing I don't have all the answers, I am also keenly aware that no one else has all the answers either. I welcome this release of how I think it needs to be, and I welcome the mystery of the Neptune in Aries era. Is that good? Does that give you enough? Feel free to add in the chat or in the comments of the replay any mantra that you would like to use or play with or offer to the group. I am just giving you what came from dissolve and develop for me, and for some things that I read and watched. I've been really consuming other people's content around Neptune in Aries to see not just what everybody's saying, but what are they prioritizing. And that's why I wanted to focus on creativity and storytelling and mystery and spirit, rather than some of the other things that Neptune can be looked at for. So this is just one interpretation, very much informed by Kate Emma, and Rachel Lang. Rachel Lang, of course, my partner for Astrology for Creatives, has a new talk on her YouTube channel called The Astrology of Activism. It's only like 15-16 minutes. It's cut down from a 2-hour talk. Highly recommend. Talks a lot about Neptune and Aries. Good. You love all that? Okay, good. Ooh, love. Excellent. Okay, great. I'm glad that that resonated. I appreciate y'all hanging with me here all this time. I hope the world out there is treating you with as much kindness and sweetness as possible. And especially if it is not, I hope you are treating yourself with as much sweetness and kindness as possible, because the world's a lot. Visit ishedeadyet.com, and there's a hyphen, a dash between each of the words. So it's is-he-dead-yet.com, ishedeadyet.com. That's a fun website. And just know, we have a lot of really big, gnarly woo weather coming up in February, and it is hitting Cheeto's chart in some really, you may not survive this kind of ways. So we are in for an adventure. Thank you all for joining me. My schedule is going to be updated soon at bonniegillespie.com/events. I hope you will join me for future live streams or events all over the place. But I will always have the up-to-the-minute information there, except there I said I didn't have a topic yet for today because I didn't decide on a topic until literally 10:40 this morning. And then I started this at noon. So, like, seriously, 3 hours ago, I decided what I was going to do. So, hope you enjoyed it. And I love y'all so much. Mwah. We, of course, will talk about Neptune in Aries many times over the years that it is here. But it is now here for our lifetime. This is it. This is our experience. Enjoy the era. Give yourself lots of love, lots of hugs. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. Replay crew, thank you for commenting. And remember, post an emoji in the comments that is your takeaway from your rising signs horoscope. Or you could do one for your sun, one for your moon, another one for your rising. I love it all. I'll give you my emojis too. All right. Love y'all. Bye. Thanks for joining me.